everyone. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Welcome to another episode of School Life Ready Talks. Again, we're here this week to just share insights with our friends and families, serving parents with children with disabilities, and just doing everything that we can to help parents and caregivers make it through their daily lives, helping the children that they love and the children that we love. So, again, welcome everyone. Hey, Jen, welcome tonight.
Thank you. Thank you. How are you doing today?
I'm doing awesome. I am on break from my school system job, and it's so nice to work in the school system because we have the opportunity for the year to end,
Yep.
and then we can take the time to reflect and rejuvenate and plan for the next school year. So it's always great to for the school year to end. And it's so important. A lot of times I know people who don't work in the school system will be like, "Oh my god, I can't believe you guys are off again." But when you're working with children,
Mm-hmm.
you have to be your best. And we on this show a lot we talk about taking time for ourselves and just taking time to replenish.
Right.
So it's something that the children need and staff need it as well. I don't know who designed schools,
Yes.
but that's one thing I must say is that the breaks are well needed. They're definitely needed. We would not have sane teachers and staff and children flourishing if there were
Right.
no breaks. The breaks, they are essential, definitely needed.
Yeah, I love to hear that. I do think that it is a great time for families to have their moments. I mean, I truly enjoy having my children at home and seeing them relax a bit more, versus when they're in school, it's just go, 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 you know?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And we know that taking breaks is important, right? We
Right.
preach this all the time that one, even when in school, we talk about taking those sensory breaks and movement breaks. So it's kind of like the same thing. We have to take breaks. So yeah, that's how it is. That's definitely how it is. So tonight, Jen, with
Yes.
school being out and the summer is on us, I'm so glad we're here tonight. And we're going to be talking about, although the breaks are important, they're not times for us to do nothing, right?
Right.
Right. So tonight's episode is all about how we are going to keep our kids learning and building skills over the summer with just life, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just simple, engaging activities, right?
Yep.
And I'm here with you, my wonderful co host, Jen, who you do it and you make it so seem so easy and so seamless because you have like taken activities and being with your children, you do it so intentionally. So really tonight I'm really hoping that we can share with families and caregivers how important it is for us to spend time with our children and do intentional activities.
Yeah, I like to start off by saying that today, none of that happened. They were watching TV the entire day, and we have ABA therapy. And then when the therapist came, I had a Crunch Lab engineering kit for them to do. And we talked about turning off the devices and just having how your brain is a muscle and we need to work it. because their camp doesn't start until next week. So right now I'm kind of giving them their break, but finding that balance, because whenever in my household, whenever I turn off the TV, it is like the end of the world, and getting them to be able to switch off to, now let's do something brain building exercise, is definitely a challenge. But so I think that scheduling weeks of what you're going to do, whether that's sensory bins or engineering kits, it could be anything, but you just having that schedule and breaking it up to where they're not feeling like they're learning, I think that that goes a long way. But finding the balance between that and TV, I don't know what to say.
Well,
I
don't
get
worry
so
about it. So, no, Jen, you actually, because you started off by saying that nothing happened today, but in reality, a whole lot happened today. The only difference is that you didn't like pre-plan today. Well, it was already planned because they had one of your children had ABA therapy
yes,
today. So that's
yes,
pre-planned, right?
yes,
And that is for parents to also understand during the summer break, the therapists that your children utilize or go to, they should continue, providing there is the ability for them to continue their therapies. Because I know I have children who they go to camp during the summer, and then a lot of times the parents are like, oh, we have camp, so we can't have speech therapy or we can't have occupational therapy. And what I would say to the parents is, okay, you may not be able to come to the clinic the same schedule,
yeah.
but you can always consult with your therapist, right? You can, nowadays there's so much virtual therapy
Mhm.
sessions that can take place, as well as some therapists like myself. We will work with the children and or the parents, more of just consulting, checking in, seeing how the child is continuing to work on the skills that we were doing in therapy before the summer break comes around.
Right.
So ABA is a little bit different because ABA is, I think it's a little bit more prescriptive. Like you can't really just stop ABA and say, oh, I have camp, I'm gonna stop ABA. I don't think that works that way. Apparently, you didn't try to stop ABA. You're having ABA during
Yeah,
your
I
okay.
actually implemented it. I got ready in December as my, because there's waiting lists are very long when it comes to ABA. So I got on a waiting list in December because I knew that, like I keep saying, we're going to the fifth grade and I needed help with that transition. And so it just was perfect timing that she was able to pair with him, and a week before summer break. And we're finding our mojo all together here. Today, today was off. It's been raining here. It's been raining like crazy. So we haven't been able to get a lot of that energy out. So I did
So
my oldest did run laps.
well, that's what I'm saying. That you might feel like you didn't get a lot done today, but I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure a lot was done today. And
Thank
then and I know that's how it is for parents, especially parents like you who are on it all the time, that when the children have so much downtime, you're thinking, oh, we didn't get much accomplished today.
Yes.
But you actually got a whole lot accomplished today because they need the break too.
I know.
They need the break too. And during the summer months, we're not saying do nothing. And I'm not saying be as intensive as you are with activities the during the school year. Over the summer, what I want for parents to do is be intentional 15 to 20 minutes a day of having their kids engaged, being away from the TV, being away from the tablet, and being engaged to really work on whole body learning. So we're
Yeah.
talking about social emotional skills. We're talking about fine motor skills, gross motor skills. We're talking about mental cognitive skills,
Mhm.
like just taking 15, 20 minutes a day to intentionally put in these activities into your daily routine, because all kids, regardless if they're diagnosed with a disability or have developmental challenges, all children have what we call the summer slide.
Mm.
So, what we're going to do is, if we can't prevent the summer slide altogether, well, what I want to do is help families lessen the summer slide,
Yeah.
how far they slide back.
Yeah. No, so it's like minimizing the issue. That way we're not so far back once we are going back to school. I love that idea.
Yeah, exactly. So we for this episode, we are going to kind of focus on some of the things that we can do to just help with reducing that summer slide. And remember, guys, we have to have fun, right? It's fun, fun, fun. So the activities that I'm going to propose and what Jen and I are going to talk about tonight, they're fun activities. There are no worksheets involved. We're not doing any
Right.
worksheets, or we're not doing that. We are using our minds and our bodies, that we can move, build, create, and unwind at the same time. Because again, breaks and unwinding is very important.
Right.
So Jen, your kids did not. So let's just look at what they did today. So we know they had ABA. Well, one had ABA. What did your other child spend the day doing?
So there are two peas in a pod. So she works with both of them and their sportsmanship and just the way that they get along as siblings. So that's great. In that we practiced buttoning our shirts. That's not something that comes easy to my oldest, so that's something that we worked on. And then they did their engineering project that I have. Well, they did it halfway, I will say, and put clothes away. So I guess we did have a good day. I guess I look at it as in when there's so much energy like he had today, where he was just like like it was just everywhere, chaos. That's where I start feeling like maybe the days I could have done more. But I think that that's everyone's feeling as a parent. You just feel like you could have done more, you should have done more.
Yeah. And the thing is, that's what, like, we don't want for parents to feel too overwhelmed, right? Like, it's summer. It's now time wherein we're trying to build or maintain skills, right? But we also want the kids to have fun. So, what I would say is that I would like for parents to put it on their schedule.
Mm, yeah.
Like schedule fun, like schedule time. Just in the same way how some parents who go to the gym,
Yes.
they schedule their time to go to the gym for themselves, and they're gonna have to schedule time for themselves, because on a previous show, right before Mother's Day, we spoke about how important it was for parents to take care of themselves.
Right.
So we're also talking about, we're trying for parents to schedule that time to take care of themselves, as well as schedule that time to parent intentionally
Right.
and bond intentionally and provide activities intentionally with their children. So back to your day today, Jen, because you're thinking, I know you're thinking, I didn't do enough.
Yeah.
And I'm here as a therapist going, sounded like you did a lot.
That's funny.
So
Well, I
and
appreciate
I'm pretty sure if we were to have the boys come in, they'll be like, I did a lot. I had a great day, or I worked hard today on doing things that I love doing. So those engineering kits, what do they, what's involved with the engineering kits that they worked on today?
Um, this one, I can't really remember because they did it with their ABA, but I'll be right back. Let me just grab
No,
it.
that's okay. Just was it one of those like Lego kits that you put together?
No, it's actually from this YouTube creator who he formerly worked for NASA, decided to stop doing that and go into create a YouTube channel, and then now has a business where he sells engineering kits and you can purchase them.
Oh
Um,
wow. All right.
yes.
We'll think about that and we'll look for that and we'll have it for our parents who might be interested, because those engineering kits, I use them a lot in therapy, but mine are not built by a guy from NASA. They're
Yeah.
normally just like, you can, as a matter of fact, last week I bought one as a gift, for one of my patients.
Oh.
It was his birthday, it was his first communion, and he also like won a prize at school. So I'm like, okay, I have to celebrate him.
Mm-hmm.
And so I bought him one of those kits. And what it was, it was an airplane,
Mm.
and it came with the different parts, and it had a guidebook, where it tells you step one, right? So the whole thing might have 20 steps altogether. It didn't
Yeah.
have more than 20 steps. But for every step, it showed you what parts you need to have and where to put them.
Mm-hmm.
And it's such a great tool that I use a lot in therapy to help children, one, work on their motor planning skills,
Right.
work on their fine motor planning skills, their fine motor, sorry, manipulation skills, because a lot of those parts, they're tiny because they're
Yes.
little Lego pieces that you're putting together. And also work on their visual perception skills, because
Mm-hmm.
they have to look and see what those parts are and know what parts to get amongst, like, some of these kits have like 80 parts.
Yes.
So the airplane would have different parts that would make up the wing, make up the tail, and they have to sequence all those steps following the book. So those are the types of engineering kits that I always use. And those are such good tools for parents to have, because guess what? You're helping, and they have smaller ones that I've used as well, that I've bought from Amazon, where it's like a car, and you
Mm-hmm.
have the car body, you have the car doors and wheels. So it might have 10 parts. And those are easier for the younger kids to put together, but such a great activity because the kids are building the same toys that they're going to use to play with.
Right.
And then they can take it, a lot of times, they can just take it down again and rebuild it again.
Yes.
And after a while, they don't have to follow the steps in the book. They know how to
Muscle memory.
yes, and how to do it. So yeah, that's a great, although they didn't finish it, I can tell you that's a great activity to have them work on during their playtime. And they don't even look at it as like work, it's playing. But can you imagine all the different skills that's involved in that?
Yeah.
That's super amazing.
It is super amazing. I also, so my oldest wasn't really into this one. My youngest was, and I gave him permission to be bored. I think that that is something that this generation just doesn't believe that they should be bored. Like they think that they should have some sort of entertainment. And so I said, all the TVs are off. You can go grab a book, you can play with your toys, or you could just sit there and be bored. But we're focusing on this. And actually, the reason why we didn't finish is I had a meeting, a work meeting. But yeah, during the time schedule or when it was our time to sit there and focus on each other, if he didn't want to, I didn't force him to participate, but I did tell him that he was going to sit there and, do whatever it is that he needed to do to entertain himself. And I think that that's very important to allow to have children be bored. I think it's a skill to learn how to entertain yourself, how to, process your own thoughts and ask yourself how you're feeling. Because in a world with so much noise and so much going on, it's hard.
Jen, I am so happy to hear you say that.
Thank
And
you.
parents who are listening, it's okay that you know what it is, because what we're doing is we're filling the kids, we're not allowing our kids to generate their own thoughts,
Hmm.
right? And I see it so much because I have children who I work with who are older, who are like, okay, fifth grade, fourth and fifth grade. And if I do say, all right, let's think of, if I would say, all right, make up a story. Tell me, I'll just tell them, make up a story or whatever. And their story that they make up will always go back to the video games.
Yes.
It will always go back to the video games. And I'm like, those video games, they don't allow our kids to be creative and imaginative because they're just following. Some of the video games will help them like solve problems. Like, because I tend to ask them, okay, what do these video games do? And they might tell me there's one called Jailbreak. Okay, all right. I understand it's jailbreak and it's not
Yes.
necessarily the right theme, but at least they have to problem solve
Right.
how to break out of the jail. And
How
I'm
to
like,
get
okay,
yourself out of a situation.
or get himself out of a situation. So, although I'm not really impressed with it being called jailbreak, I wish it was something more of something other than jail. I don't know. How do you get out of a jam? I don't know.
Right.
But most of these video games that our kids are engaging in does not help with the thought process. It
Right.
does not help with creativity. So when you tell your child, guess what? It's okay to be bored. Entertain yourself without giving them TV or tablets or computers. We're actually helping them. So
Yes.
I am so happy to hear you say that. And we're giving parents and children the permission to go ahead and let your children be bored
Yep.
for a few minutes, and then you can have a conversation with them. Say, okay, what did you think about? Or you can follow up, just to know where their thought process in, like, follow up during those times, like, okay, what did you do when you were by yourself playing? Did you play with a specific toy, or did you just make up something in your head? Did you make up a game? Did you think of something new, just to see where their thought processes are? And then we can give them at times what we call like story starters, right? So we
Yes.
can say, hey, imagine that you're at the beach, and you give them that for them to go with. So definitely, guys, allow your child to use their minds.
Yeah, I also think with those starters, we do that a lot, and most of the time is I will choose stories that have been that are either a movie or a show that I know that they're familiar with, because that starts it gets them excited and they know what's coming up next and they want to talk about it or act it out, whatever it may be. I think it's a great way to start that that narrative, if you will.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, what I did in preparation for this show for tonight is I came up with a calendar for the summer, like a calendar of activities that families can do. And I'll have it on my website, as well as anyone can email me. I'll put the email in the chat, can email me, and I will send you the calendar with the list of activities. So what I did, I did it for June. I'm going to have it for June and July, and I'm going to try to have it digitally so parents can have it, so they can plug in their own activities. But for now, this is just to help people to kind of organize their time intentionally with their child. So, for example, on week 1, I have Let's Get Organized, and that has to do with executive functioning. You remember a couple of episodes ago, we spoke about executive functioning, and executive functioning skills are those skills that help us to plan and execute. So everybody needs to have executive functioning skills, children and adults, to be
Right.
able to get anything done. You have to have executive functioning skills. So some of the activities that help to work on executive functioning skills are having our children do things like sorting the laundry,
Mm-hmm.
right? Oh, you know what's a great thing? And I want more parents to do this, especially for children who are like 5 years and older. When you go grocery shopping, have your child put away the groceries. That is such a great skill. And I must say, I feel like, and all the parents out there right now who could raise your hands, most parents do not have their kids do the work. They just do it. Because it's so much easier for us to just put the groceries away ourselves.
Yeah.
I know, right? Or
Yes.
just do things ourselves. So we just end up doing it. But it is more beneficial to the kids. The younger, as a matter of fact, the younger they are and we start having them do things, that's how they learn, guys. That's how they learn. So do little things like helping them sort their toys, like making sure, like, instead of like dumping all the toys in one bin, maybe you can put like a section, like a piece of cardboard or something, and section the bin off, and then have them sort their toys. So like if it's puzzles, puzzles go here. If it's cars, cars go here. Vehicles go here. Dolls and other like superhero toys and go there. Like having them be a little bit more, using more brain power to organize. So
Yes.
sorting toys, sorting laundry, or putting away your groceries. So those
Hmm.
are some of great activities. If you can find, and I know we can all find time to
Oh
put
yeah.
this on our calendar.
Oh yeah. My kids, they most definitely have to sort their own laundry. Um, I'm not doing that for them. What I'm raising humans is what I tell them. You know, like, you are going to be a member in society and you have to learn how to do things for yourself because things don't just magically get done. So that is something that I'm very much a stickler of. So the way that I started it was they were younger and we started matching socks. And then from there, it was depending on the season, shorts, it was bottoms and then just folding it and then I would of course have to go back and refold it and then after that we moved on to when they had bigger hands we moved on to putting clothes on hangers and so they'll set them down and then I'll go and put them on the hanger. I'm sorry, I put them in the closet. But yes, I think that that is very important. The putting groceries away, I don't know that I can do that because I just feel like they would grab it all and just put it in the pantry and like nothing would be organized and I'll be, confused as to where my pasta sauce is and I could just see my youngest being like, "Oh yeah, I know exactly where that is, mom," and grabbing it for me. But it is something that I have to work on for sure. I didn't think about that.
Yeah, the groceries, putting away the groceries is absolutely an activity that works on a lot of different scales. And the reason I like putting away the groceries is we have more heavy stuff.
Mm,
So for me, just using those weights to give that body awareness and build those muscles, as well as if I don't know, because some people's pantries are more organized than others. Like
yeah,
my pantry, it won't matter what shelf they put it on. That's fine. Just put it on the shelf.
yeah,
But you might have parents or families or caregivers who are their pantries are more organized. The more organized the pantries are, the better the skill is for the child, because then the child has to now look and go, oh, this is these are canned goods, and okay, canned goods go here, or okay, this is pasta goes here, or this is pasta sauce and these are glass bottles, they go here, you know what I mean? So the more organized the pantry is, the um the more skills is required by the child. However, guys, that's okay if the kids don't put them in the right place. You
right.
can go back later and move them and put them
Mhm.
where they're supposed to be, right? What we
Yes,
want to do is get our children engaged, because we know the more children do for themselves, the better they are at school functioning skills. There's a lot of research behind that. And if you notice I've seen a lot of videos on like Instagram and TikTok that's put out by like child psychologists. They always encourage parents to start having their children do things early, giving them roles and chores early, as soon as they can do it. Let them start doing it. Don't be worried about um, things being out of place, or you won't be able to find it, or anything like that. That's okay. Get your children as involved as possible. So those are some of the executive functioning activities. So for parents who are listening right now, just jot them down. I know you have a laundry day. I know you have a grocery
right.
shopping day. So these are easy days that you can put things in place for your child to do. So definitely go ahead and write these activities down, and remember, be intentional about getting your child involved.
Yes.
Another category that we and as an occupational therapist, this is like my forte. It's sensory based activities.
Mhm.
Like all activities are sensory based, but some are more sensory in terms of tactile input.
Okay.
um so like most of the, and that's the tactile input is the sensation of touch,
Mhm.
right? So getting our kids to really have that sensory input in their hands, because this is what's happening, guys. Those tablets don't allow for sensory exploration. I'm sorry. You have your children on tablets a lot. They're everywhere. If they're in the car, they're on a tablet. If they're home, they're on a tablet. So what I'm trying to do is having you guys be intentional about uh, limiting, like finding different things to do other than being on the tablet, right? um so sensory exploration has to do like playing in water and sand and finger painting. When was the last time y'all did finger painting? When was the last time you did finger painting, Jen, with your boys?
Oh my God, I can't even remember.
I remember like we, when my son was younger, we did finger painting a lot. And there was something by Crayola.
Okay.
It's an activity by Crayola wherein it was paint, but it would only show color on a specific paper.
Oh,
Oh my gosh, I can't remember the name of it. And if there anyone who out there who remembers the name of it. So the markers, there were markers and there was finger paint. The markers would only write on that paper. So if the kid went and tried to do it on the wall,
it
the
wouldn't work.
marker would not mark the wall.
Oh, I
It's
want that.
it's amazing. It's by Crayola. Oh my goodness. I'm going to look for it for next show and have it. So it's Crayola. Crayola is the brand. And they also have the paint wherein if you, the paint doesn't turn color unless it's on that paper that comes in the finger painting kit.
Yeah.
So for those who are worried about mess, and it says, I think it's called Crayola No Mess or something like that. You guys can Google it.
Yeah,
Crayola
I
No
will
Mess.
for sure.
Crayola No Mess, right? But it allows you to explore, for those parents who are worried about, oh, they're going to get the paint all over the place, or they're going to mess up the walls or the carpet or whatever the case may be. Sensory exploration and getting that input to your hands is very important. Back in the days, we used to have kids digging in the dirt. No, nobody's doing that anymore. Nobody's digging in the dirt. Nobody's
Oh my
playing in the
goodness.
dirt. What were you saying, Jen?
No, my kids most definitely are. We have a garden that we are trying to keep alive, if you will. We have strawberries, and so my youngest will go and grab earthworms and then put them on top of the strawberries and says that it's food for them to eat. So yes, I think that gardening is a very good way to get them to be outside, with intentionally outside, learning about farm or food to table sort of thing. It's science. I mean, there's just so much that goes into it. I will have him. He's my youngest is very much into gardening, and he looks at the weather and he goes, "I don't have to water the strawberries this week because it's going to rain 2 days." And so he's on top of it. It gives them something to do. It gives them purpose, and I'm here for it.
And I tell you, and again, we covered this in a previous episode too, when we spoke about how beneficial planting is, right? And how much our children can learn from, even if we just plant one plant. But I mean, Jen has her boys doing gardening, but gardening gardening, a lot of people use gardening as something to calm themselves. They use it as a hobby. A lot of older people do, but for kids, it's also as important as it is. The same effects that gardening has on an older person who who are avid gardeners,
Yep.
it's the same kind of effect that we can nurture in our children to really, really get their hands dirty and learn to mold dirt and stuff, but also to see how when you nurture something, how it can grow and blossom. So even if you plant something at the beginning of summer and have them have that as a routine to water it, to care for it, do you see
Responsibility.
how much we can do for our children by using little things and
Mhm.
really, really keeping our children engaged? So maybe put that on your intentional list of things to do with your child this summer. Plant something, even if it's one plant.
Right.
So that's awesome. Jen, you're ahead of the game because you're already doing that. So yeah, so sensory exploration, whether it be with paint or dirt, sand, water, let's be intentional and put that on your calendar as well. Activities that you can do with your child over the summer.
Hmm.
Another thing
Wait.
that we can work on with our child over the summer is building, making something. And we Jen spoke about that with the engineering kit.
Yep.
That's building. That's getting something that we can build together. I know there are kits, right? There are little kits like birdhouse kits.
Yes.
Um, there are different little kits that we can get off Amazon that are
Or
pretty cheap.
yeah, Hobby Lobby has them, and then
Mhm.
also I want to say one Saturday or Sunday out of the month, Home Depot and Lowe's has them, and they give them away. You just have to sign up, and you go in the morning and you pick up your kit, and it's, making a little it could be so many different things. But if it's something that you're not able to sign up for, Hobby Lobby has so many good ideas at really great price.
Yeah, so they also, and I think I don't know if Home Depot does this anymore. I remember they used to have like little workshops um wherein
Now
people could go to. Are they still doing that?
No, now you go and pick up your kit and then you do it at home.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, I think it changed after the pandemic and then it just never went back.
Oh, okay. Right, yeah. Well, pick up a free kit or buy a kit that's pretty reasonable and build and paint and decorate your whatever it is you build. Again, you can do the Lego kits,
Mm-hmm.
wherein, as I said before, they have different size Lego kits. And I know Legoland has, and I'm not saying necessarily you got to go to Legoland, but they show you where they use Lego pieces and build magnificent structures, right? But you can get, and it doesn't have to be a Lego brand, but the same building with bricks, with interlocking bricks. Get something like that. And you and your child, it may not be something that you finish building in one day. It might be wherein it might take you all a good week or several times to end up building it, but at least you're engaged in the creation of something, right? You're building. So do stuff like that as well. Just make sure you set time aside, right? To be
Yeah.
able to do that with your kids.
One other thing idea I was just thinking about is my kids like to make paper airplanes and then race them. And it's something that's so simple. You just need a piece of paper. And they do these little like fortune things that my youngest likes to predict the world with. Yeah, it's crazy. And then we have origamis or making bookmarks. Just very
Mm.
simple things. We make bracelets a lot. We make a lot of bracelets, necklaces. Like there are so many things that we can do just to get our brains going and doing it together as a family.
Guys, there's so many things that we can do. But the primary focus is being intentional about it. And I read an article about intentional parenting, and I found it so important because it's not that I'm getting on parents and I'm trying for parents to and I'm not saying that parents aren't doing enough, because I know it's busy, but what I want everyone to remember is that parents are the first teachers,
Yes.
right? We are the first teachers for our children, and it's important for us to intentionally teach them things. I mean, we all have our parenting styles, and we as families we have what's important for us as families, but at the end of the day, all of our kids go through the same developmental process. There no one learns how to use their okay, no one learns how to walk before they learn how to grasp, right? Developmentally, we kids learn how to hold on to something first before they learn how to walk, right? It doesn't matter um your family values, it doesn't matter what you care about as a parent. At the end of the day, developmentally, all children are the same.
Yes.
And therefore, all activities that we are proposing, and the fact that I'm saying, guys, try to limit the screen time and be more intentional about the physical activities that we have our children in. Is that's all I'm begging you as a therapist, as an educator, like just be intentional. And I'm not talking just to parents with children with disabilities, I'm talking to all parents of young children. I'm talking to all parents of young children. Please, 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 let's try to limit the time our children are on these tablets and computers and phones, and put more into having them physically, mentally, spiritually, sensorily, emotionally engaged in activities. So pretty much that is like my preaching. I as a therapist and seeing all these children who are being diagnosed with autism and ADHD, I strongly feel that with the advent of all these video games and computer based activities that we're seeing arise with children who are diagnosed with autism and ADHD. I'm not saying that is the cause. I'm just saying I'm seeing a strong correlation with it. So I'm begging and I'm asking for parents to just be a little bit more intentional with the activities that we do with our children. So with the summer upon us,
Mm-hmm.
um, I'm just saying, let's put these activities in on your calendar, put it in your planner, put it on your fridge on a little notepad. But whatever you do, make sure that you put it in a place because you're going to do it. You are going to act on it. You are going to get your child engaged this summer.
Yeah, one idea that I have is it's not something that I'm doing just yet, but it is something that I will do in the future, I think, is we have AT&T and T, and there's a smart home app, and you're able to shut off the internet for a period of time in your home. And I think
Hmm.
that scheduling that as my kids get older is going to be more beneficial because it's giving them, it's off. There's nothing that I can do about it. I'm sorry. And then it's time to go and find something to do, whatever that is. But I've given you all of the resources. You have everything here for you, so it's not so much me always planning. I think that once my oldest gets into fifth grade, I don't always want to plan what he's going to do. I really want him to take the initiative of I want to play with, I want to do this, because he is getting older. So I do. I've looked into that, and I think Xfinity has that option where you're able to completely cut off the internet.
Yeah, I actually know of parents who are already doing that. It's like a blackout. They call it a
Yep.
blackout, an internet blackout.
Yes.
They black out, but the kids don't know that the parents are intentionally blacking out the
Yeah.
internet.
That's
It's
funny.
like it's like they would, you remember, like when we would have like power outage,
Yes.
and then we had to like figure out a way how we're going to get around not having power. The kids having to do the same thing, like the internet. But as the kids get older, I had one parent who told me that they did it, and the child went to like the modem, and in an in an effort to get the internet back up,
Yeah.
they ended up doing something. So they had to call
Oh
they
no.
had to call
The
the
provider.
company to come and like reset it, because she doesn't know what her son did, but he went to get the internet put back on.
That, you know what that is? That's problem solving skills right
But
there.
that's
He was like, I see the problem and I think I have the solution.
exactly. He went and tried to put it back on. So for parents who are going to do the internet blackout, to just get your kids away from
The modem.
those. Hopefully, your parents are able to get their kids engaged. But it's funny because this parent who she's one of the parents. There are several parents who I know who do it, but this parent who did that, who did the internet blackout, she was thinking that her child was just so addicted. And guys, it's a thing.
Oh
Your
yeah.
children can be addicted to these video games. It's not a myth, or it's not just people using the word addiction. Your children can be addicted. It's actually a thing wherein your child is addicted to video games, or digital. I think they call it digital addiction, something like that. And there are actually courses out there for therapists like myself to learn strategies to help children become non-addicted. What is that the word, or unaddicted? Um, so yeah, guys, it's a real thing. So you might be here saying, "Oh, Dr. Cecelia and Jen just keep giving us ideas of stuff that we really don't have time to do."
Yeah.
But I'm here to tell you it's very, very important that we get back to physical activities with our children.
Yeah.
It's very, very important. Um, for children who are like ages 4 to 6, we can continue to work on those fine motor skills, those dressing skills, doing their buttons.
Memory
We can get
skills.
into the writing, different activities to help boost handwriting. We can also work on skills that are helping them to self-regulate and follow directions, right? So for those younger kids, we can do those things. For the kids who are a little bit older, like 7 to 10, what we really want to do with those skills is we want to focus on their retention of the skills that they have learned during the school year. We want to help them retain those skills, and we really want to improve their reading and understanding. So when I make that calendar, I'll have on there things like making a shopping list together, right? So now we're using more words and we're more reading. Writing postcards, we can do some of those activities as well, or even start a simple summer journal, like getting them
Yes.
into writing. Back in the days, kids, well, mostly girls and boys, don't really like to write. So maybe we can find a way to get them to do a little bit more writing, right? So maybe they can tell them they can start writing their story, and every day they get up, they just write one thing happening in their story. So you want to incorporate that writing for the kids that are 7 to 10. With all the skills that we're talking about, writing, handwriting, not typing. Handwriting in and of itself is a great physical activity. So if we can get them to just write small notes or a couple sentences a day, just to keep working on those handwriting skills, that would be awesome.
What
So
about
there's a lot we can do.
what about drawing?
Drawing is good. If absolutely.
Yeah, my kid,
Draw,
my oldest one, he's such a little artist. He drew this today. This is one of the trolls. And we have so
oh,
many of these where he just draws. And to me, that's him practicing his writing, maneuvering that pencil,
absolutely.
whatever it is. So he's not a writer. He does not like to write. But as long as he does this, I'm good. I'm like, okay, well, you did something.
Well, writing is very, very, very well drawing. Like, so the drawing is the precursor to writing, right? Because before kids learn to write letters, they draw shapes, right?
Okay,
And
yes.
they draw stick figures or whatever. So drawing is actually very, very good. Drawing is really, really good.
Now that you're
Um,
saying that, maybe what I can do is have him create a comic book and then have him say like, what is this troll saying, and then maybe I can do something along those lines that way, because I know that people, or like research shows that people who write are better spoken. They speak more eloquently, and they're able to get their idea across more clearly.
mhm.
And that's a skill, and it's a skill that I want my kids to have. So now that you're that might be where that direction that I should start pushing towards, is let's write a book or a story about what these characters are doing, because we do talk about them. It's just about getting him to put it on paper. He, like I said, he does not like to write. I mean, it's a big deal in school. He refuses to take notes. So it's something that I need to keep going this summer, because then we're just going to start all over again once he goes into fifth grade with the not writing notes.
Well, guys, Jen just gave, and I hadn't remembered about this in a long time, but Jen just gave a great idea for parents who, if your children don't like writing, doing the comic is one of the most amazing things that you can do. Even if they don't draw the pictures, but they have like the comic figures and they're just filling in that bubble And even if they have the character just saying one word like wow, it's
Okay.
okay. It's okay because they are practicing their writing skills, they're developing their language skills.
Yep.
So comics is a good way. And for kids who have difficulty learning to read, there's this comic, I think, what's it called? Captain
Captain
Underpants?
Underpants. Yeah.
Yes, like they having them start off with comics. I know an adult right now. I remember he's in his 40s and his child is having difficulty learning how to read, and he said he understood exactly where his child was coming from because he himself had difficulty reading, and he started reading comics. That's how he started reading, by doing comics. They don't really have a lot of comics out nowadays, but if you can find it, if go to the library and you can maybe find comics and make your kids start reading comics.
Yeah, Dogman is a really good comic book series. And I know that in the library there's an entire section just dedicated to comic books. They're mostly older for sure. But you're right. Even having them create their own comic books
Yeah.
is,
But I must say, was that done by your older or younger son, that drawing?
oh, my oldest, he's such an artist. He's so
Oh my
amazing.
goodness, that is amazing.
I
That is
know.
amazing.
Thank you.
Hold it up again. Let me see it. That is so amazing.
Yep.
And
He
that's
does this.
that is really good. That is really good. And definitely drawing, coloring.
Yes.
Another great activity is coloring by numbers or
Hmm.
coloring by letters or coloring by uppercase and lowercase. Like all those activities, guys. So much to do. So much to do.
Yes.
We can do this summer for cheap. For cheap, doesn't cost much.
Yes.
You can print stuff off from the internet. Like, please, please, please have your children engaged, and don't forget, have fun. Have fun.
Yes. Create memories. Another two ideas of I've done this in the past is creating our own bingo cards.
Mm,
It's super easy. I mean, all you really need is manipulative, so it could be beads, and then you put that on top, and you create bingo cards or memory cards, and so it could be like drawing two of these, and then finding out where the other one is, and it's just there's so many different things that you can do together as a family, and you don't have to play with it right away. It could be something that you play with next week, but just the fact that you guys created that together is so meaningful, and it's such a core memory, I think, for children.
awesome. Guys, we can spend time this summer really, really having a great time with our kids. And at the same time, we are having fun, we're building memories, we're creating different experiences, and it's easy. It's easy. It really, I know everyone is busy, but
Yep.
it's easy. We can all do it. We can definitely do it. Well, we have come to the end of another great show. I'm putting School Life Ready at gmail.com as our email address. Whatever you heard here tonight, go ahead and just send me an email and request whatever you want. We're working on getting our library of PDFs and digital creations for you guys to make it easier, because I know it's hard every time for you guys to make stuff from scratch. So we're doing our best to make things available to you guys so that you can always come and get whatever you need and you can implement it with your children. I am personally on a mission to help to reduce screen time for children, along
Yep.
with being on a mission to help families with everything pertaining to special needs and and being in school. So I'm here for you guys, and Jen is also here. So Jen, anything before we go tonight?
Yeah, I'm committed to finding fun ideas and ways to get families to bond and create these memories. These kids grow so fast. You blink and they're going to college. So definitely spend that time with your children.
Awesome. All right, guys, have a great, great week. And we will see you next week at this time. Everyone, enjoy. And I look forward to hearing from everyone. Anyone who has any questions, please reach out to us. We're here for you. Have a
For
good
sure.
night, y'all.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye, everyone.